Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Ganascoli for Money Sport, and I'm here with the great Cauthen, Stevie Wonder. And I was telling you earlier that when I was 16, 17 years old, you were having that magical meet at Aqueduct,
Right.
where you had 23 winners in a week.
Yep.
And he was also the youngest jockey to win the Triple Crown aboard a firm.
Absolutely.
And Sportsman of the Year in 1977 for Sports Illustrated. Tremendous career. And I was curious, your style of riding, who you took after or wanted to ride like?
Well, when I was a kid, I was obviously fairly tall for my age, and so really I was kind of looking at who the tall riders were that I thought looked good on a horse. And back at that time, it was Braulio Baeza was, my idea of, a guy who looked fantastic on a horse. He had a real low, he stayed really low on the back of a horse, and had, which is great for wind resistance. And he also was a quiet rider. He basically tried to get horses to run for him without a lot of, whipping and whatever, jumping all over the horse. So I thought he was a good guy to model myself after, and that's really who I started to model myself after. Then, of course, once you start riding, you watch everybody, and anything that you think that they do that you like and you can use to make you a better rider, you do. So I was watching Cordero and Velasquez and everybody, Pinkai, Shoemaker, and all the just trying to find anything that you can do to make it make yourself a better jockey.
That's amazing. And actually, Steve, I think you're taller than me.
You think so?
I think so. It makes me think that maybe I had a shot.
You could have maybe for a while,
Had I laid off the macaroni.
Right. Well, you're Italian. It's tough.
Steve, I'm very curious as what do you think like the future of racing is to get the younger generation interested in it? Does it need like the excitement of a Triple Crown more often? Because when I was at the Belmont Stakes, I saw a lot of young people there, and I know it's sort of like a social event.
Right.
Dress up, be seen, but I think they actually had a great time watching a Triple Crown. What do you think?
I think it's a lot of things. I don't think it's one specific thing, but I think, obviously the more, like with TVG and more television, shows about horse racing, that people, that are just casually sitting there and all of a sudden they start to learn something and something, clicks that makes them interested, and maybe, to dive into, read a book about it, or, go out to the racetrack and start to, get interested. And, when I was a kid, mostly people, would come to the racetrack for the first time being brought by some friend, and obviously the older race players, they're dying off. We need new, guys to, kind of introduce people to the sport. So, but now it's all TV and media that does that. So, I'm assuming that exactly what we're doing right here is one of the things that needs to be done. Try to introduce young people to the excitement, the beauty, just all the pageantry and just the real joy of being around these great, athletes, and the intriguing characters that are around. It's like, your show, The Sopranos. Well, the backside at the racetrack is kind of like The Sopranos in its own way. There's all kinds of people there that play their part in making racing happen.
Yeah, I hear. I've always heard in New York in 30s, 40s, 50s that the three sports that everyone followed was boxing, baseball, and horse racing. And it just sort of waned because of TV and more sports becoming prevalent. But I think that this is a tremendous turnout tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Stakes races here. We're here with the PDJF.
Right.
And it's just been an absolute honor meeting you and talking to you.
Hey, my pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
Talking to you, Joe.
Be well.
All right.
Signing off for Money Sport. Put your money where your sport is.